Welcome to Aligned Impact, the podcast where conscious leadership meets bold entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Summer Huntington, and each week we dive deep with founders, innovators, and thought leaders who are rewriting the rules of business from the inside out. Here we talk mindset, brand, content, culture, the real stuff behind building a legacy-driven business that doesn't burn you out. No filters, no fluff, just real conversations that inspire aligned action and intentional impact. If you're a visionary leader ready to create with purpose, grow with integrity, and lead with your heart, you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
The bigger companies that we worked with were really when we were going in more from that ground up approach. So something that we are working on at the moment is creating a program that is specifically for CEO level, for that executive level at companies. So we haven't rolled that out yet, but we are gearing that towards the people that have found success, right? Like they have found a role maybe even that they love, that they've been passionate and dedicated to, they've made a lot of money in it, they're successful in many ways.
Big warm welcome to Kendra Grace Stoll. She is a co-founder of Pneumo Wellness. Thank you so much for being here, Kendra. It's a pleasure to have you.
Hi, Summer. I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this conversation. Thank you.
Awesome. So this morning I woke up to a cute little story of Kendra sipping her cacao, and she had meditated and grounded before getting ready, and I'm actually sipping my cacao now too. And I feel like we have so much to talk about. A lot of kind of crossover in leadership, in the yoga and wellness space, and kind of serving entrepreneurs. I would love if you could share a moment in your own life when reconnecting with your inner knowing allowed you to kind of step into the role of leader here.
Yeah, it's been so interesting how like stepping into like really diving into this leadership work that I've been asked a lot, like what my superpower is and like fully owning what that is, because we're our first client, right? Like doing the work with ourselves is really where that starts. And so I've had to like own this superpower of being able to sense and feel. And so I love this question because it really lets me share like how that's helped me navigate life. There's a few scenarios actually that pop into my head first, and like they're very different in how this skill set, I guess, or this knowingness was used. But the first one that pops into my head is like having a very like physical sensation that was happening in my arm at one time. Like I was just having a pain, and I think a lot of people can relate to this, where we like feel something happening in our bodies. It's very hard to explain to somebody what it is, and just our modern understanding of medicine, while it knows and can do amazing things, it doesn't always have like the right lens to see the inside and the inner workings, especially energetic stuff. And so I had seen somebody, they didn't know what was going on, and I just like laid myself down on the mat, on the yoga mat, and I closed my eyes, and it was very much just like somatic meditation, almost of like feeling it, putting my hand on this space, and then all of a sudden like my body just started moving without me knowing really what I was doing. And before I knew it, like I don't even know how much time passed, but I had like snapped my shoulder back into position and realized that it was actually like partially dislocated, and was able to like find its way back in without having like no understanding of how to do that. It was just like solely through like feeling it. So that was like a very physical thing. But another way that this like really has shifted my life is a couple of years ago, I was going through a very big transition. We're experiencing some health stuff within our family, and we had this thing coming up where we needed to move. We were like being pushed out of our apartment, and I was out walking with my dog, and it was just like a download. And I just feel like it's this openness to receive information in these different ways that I was able to like recognize it and honor it. And so I heard this download that we needed to move back to where my husband and I grew up. And I went home after walking the dog, and like first thing I said to my husband, I was like, I think we need to move back there. Like, what do you think about that? And he had been having a very hard time like voicing what he needed and things like that. And immediately he was like, yeah, that's it. So it would just like, and that changed the whole trajectory of like what was going on in our lives, and like propelled us into a very big shift that needed to happen. So very transformational in how this ability has, like, you know, in small ways and in some very large ways.
Yeah, I think of intuition and that listening to the somatic sensation in the gut, or, you know, when you have something pulling on your heart. And oftentimes in our society, we're not really given the space to actually feel into those sensations and what our body is telling us. And it sounds like you've got a cleared channel of when your body is speaking, you're listening.
Yeah, and that's really what I want most to share with people. Yeah, is that they have that too.
Can you give us a little bit of an overview about Pneuma Wellness? I know you're a co-founder. I know you have another partner. Can you just kind of give us kind of some broad strokes about what Pneuma Wellness is and how you serve your community?
Yeah, of course. So my business partner, Lee Higgins, him and I started Pneuma Wellness a few years back when I still lived in New Jersey. So we work remotely with one another right now, which is like amazing that we can do that. And I miss him dearly. And we started this with the intention of creating something larger than any one of us could do by ourselves, right? Like, we came to it with a common vision of this integrative healing, of being able to bring together all of these people with a vision and create a collective around that. So that is really the foundation of Pneuma, is the connection to the collective, and we are witnessing and also like inviting and like drawing out this wisdom that we see in so many people that maybe haven't fully expressed that yet. Like, we're inviting them to share that and step into their power so that they can really show up as more of a leader in their own life and in the way that they lead others, whether that's work or community or, you know, within their family.
And what would you say your role is in the company as far as like facilitation or, you know, marketing? If you kind of had to narrow in the hats that you wear, what would you say your roles are?
That's a tricky one with a small business. I think my real strength, though, is in being able to hold that bigger vision. So I came from a background in marketing and branding, and I think like those same sort of skill sets played out there, where I'm able to hold a lot of information. Like, we have this big vision of what it can become, but there's so many small steps along the way. And so I often see myself then as like sort of this North Star for the business. So like keeps us very aligned with any new offerings that we're bringing in or like language that we're using. It just helps keep us really focused on what's important to us. And of course, I also am doing like lots of facilitation work and wearing many hats, but I feel like that's really the most important piece that I bring to it.
And tell us a little bit about the Connected Collective, the 2.0 launch, and just what that container is like and who it's for.
We launched this the original version of that about 3 months ago, and it was meant to be a very accessible space for our founders and entrepreneurs, really anybody that sees themselves as a leader, but it seems to really be drawing in people that are in that entrepreneurial world. To give them a space to vocalize and work through things where they really don't have a community to talk about those things, right? Like, it can be very lonely or isolating, trying to start something up on your own. And so we've created this space to hold them there and be able to work them not just through like the mindset and coaching work, but what we are launching in this 2.0 version of it is bringing in even more of the energy and embodiment work. The coaching is so powerful on its own, and we do incorporate breath work into those sessions to help our nervous systems like adjust to these big conversations that we're having. But we're really leaning into the emotional and energetic work behind it, and giving even more resources for like integrating that level of change.
Okay, I definitely would love to riff on this a bit with you, because I'm in a space where I'm often coaching seasoned or beginning entrepreneurs to get more visible and to get their offers out there and like get more sales, consults booked and, just getting their offers published and launched. I'm curious, what have you found are some commonalities when people have like mindset blocks in business? Like what are some commonalities you see, and then what's your approach to helping them move through those blocks?
What's come up most, I would say, within our Connected Collective is this sense of being very busy to the point of, I feel like this word is so overused, but to the point of burnout. Like that's really is how it's showing up. And they're trying to find not really balance. I feel like entrepreneurs, that's not really what we're seeking. Like we love the work that we do, but more of an integration of like healthy living into the work that we love doing. And so really primarily the way that we're helping people with that is giving them the experiences in breath work, meditation, and energy work, and energy leadership, which is more of that mindset piece, that helps them create a new way of being. Like that is ultimately what the work is it's not really changing anything in their day-to-day. It's not really giving them strategies for their business. It's inviting them, like they're being called to lead in a different way than what they've done in the past. For whatever reason, that's not working. They're feeling some sort of resistance there. And so we're asking them like, well, how do you want to show up? How are you being called to show up? And helping them step into a new way of being, because that shifts everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's this phrase in entrepreneurship, be, do, have, become the person that has the thing, basically. But I've found for myself in entrepreneurship, you have to, or you get to continue to evolve your language and how you interact with your clients and your mindset. It's just personal development all the time, being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, absolutely.
So at the heart of your work, it's helping people reconnect with themselves. Can you walk us through the specific transformation that your clients experience when they begin to sense and feel again in their body?
So the connection piece is actually more threefold. There's definitely first, we usually first start with this piece of connecting with self, and that is that ability to sense and feel, trust your inner guidance. But the other two components that are so critical in this connection piece is also being able to connect with others. So that's where like having the support, being able to vocalize things so you're not like ruminating, you're not just like having things circulating in your head and body, but you get to share that, you get to be reflected and have space to be with others. And then the third piece is like connecting with that source energy. So it's related to your own sense and feeling, but it's also like opening yourself up to this divine guidance and flow that is available to all of us. And so you were asking about like the transformation that's coming from that. Is that what you were asking? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to actually what I was saying before, is that it's creating a new, it's allowing them to see that there is a different way for them to show up in their life, in their work, in their health, in relationships. Like it's opening up, I visualize it like it's opening up this door within them that has been closed for so long. They just didn't know that that was like an option for them to step into that. And as soon as they realize that it's available, like as soon as they realize that, oh wow, like I can approach my work with less control, or I don't have to be the one that's holding everything up anymore. Like it all just starts with awareness, like having that ability to connect and giving them opportunities to pause in that, to notice what they're feeling. It really just opens up their awareness. And yeah, from there, it's like allowing, like one of the things we've seen one of our clients go through very recently, he was talking about like wanting to make some health changes in his life. And it's hard to it's hard to sometimes like step into a new way of being when other people in your life are on their own paths. Like we want everybody to like kind of join us, but the work that we did together helped him see that it wasn't like their journey is their journey, right? Like the awareness was he just needs to meet them where they're at to create a level of safety. So it's like he had already created the safety within himself to make these changes in his life, but then how it related with others, right? Like that connection piece with others is that realizing that meeting them where they are at, like made his relationship actually so much better because there was no longer this resistance of like, oh, I'm doing this and now you need to do that too. It was like, okay, we're both on our own paths here and we can support each other. And actually by saying that it's okay that you're not doing that, we can be a lot happier together and support one another.
Well, thanks so much for walking us through that step by step. I find with people that are trying to implement new habits, like oftentimes they just need to take action and create the new habits. But what you're talking about is taking it a step deeper. It's the mindset, it's the energetics, it's becoming a new person. I'm curious, what are some of the common challenges that your clients bring to you, and how does your integrative healing approach help them shift out of those patterns?
So there are a lot of, I think that the common challenge is around, it was kind of like I was mentioning earlier, like it's around them feeling overwhelmed and burnt out in this like huge role that they've taken on as a founder entrepreneur. And alongside that is them feeling disconnected, right? They're disconnected from other people in their lives. Like with that client I was just talking about, like as an entrepreneur, your wife or husband or, you know, other people in your life that are important to you might not understand that fully. And so there's oftentimes this lack of support that they're coming in with. And so we're really just giving them that, like, we're giving them that support. We're giving them that safety to be able to keep going in what they're doing. I have to catch myself sometimes because I sometimes start to feel the pressure on myself that like I need to change something for them, right? But it's always this constant reminder for us within Numa that like we're not really doing anything for them. We're just like creating a space, and like everything that they need to know, all of this wisdom is within them. We're maybe just like holding up a mirror or, you know, like giving them an opportunity to dive a little bit deeper, like you said, into what is coming up for them. So we're really just there to support and guide.
It really sounds like a very holistic approach, and also you specifically seem very, very grounded in kind of your philosophy and the way that you facilitate. It's really cool to see. So I'm curious, the workplace is evolving fast. What major shifts are you seeing in corporate wellness, leadership, and how teams engage with well-being today?
I love this question.
It's a big one.
Yeah, I love this though, because when we started with Numa, we were doing a lot more corporate wellness gigs. We were going into companies, working with the teams in there, bringing in sound baths and meditation and yoga. And it was very well received at that team level, but we were not having like manager buy-in, definitely not ownership buy-in, right? And so it was wonderful for these individuals to have an experience like that in the workplace, but it was bothering us because we knew it wasn't having the impact that was really desired in the workplace. Like I think what the collective is really like yearning for is I'm using the same language again, but like is a new way of being in work where it's not siloed, where it's not, this is my work life, this is my other life, and they're so separate. Like we've tried that and it doesn't work. And so, yeah, there's been a lot of evolution, right? Like we've seen yoga in the workplace, and that is wonderful. But I think what we've really wanted to dive more into in the workplace and where the opportunity is for the leadership. It's like that we made this shift actually towards the beginning of this year, this is a relatively like recent shift that we've been gearing all of our work to leadership now. That's why like starting at the top, starting with the founders, starting with the entrepreneurs is really where we see the most opportunity, because it has to be a top-down approach to really create what I think the collective is asking for in terms of how we want to work and be in this world. And then the bottom can come in, right? So like as long as the top of the company has that appreciation and understanding of how important holistic wellness is within our whole lives, then that ground up approach can happen with like having access to yoga, to breath work and meditation. Then it comes together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely see the shift that you're making. I spent a lot of years when I first graduated from grad school doing wellness interventions in the workplace for like big manufacturing companies, where we'd go in and do the worksite wellness, or like universities or aerospace engineering. So we'd go in and do the wellness work, but if you don't have that top down like the leadership buy-in from the executive team, from the owners, from the founders, it's really, you're only looking at one aspect of change, and we really need to have both parts kind of working together to create that culture of holistic wellness. Have you guys worked with any larger companies, and how's that been with rolling out your leadership interventions?
The bigger companies that we worked with were really when we were going in more from that ground up approach. So something that we are working on at the moment is creating a program that is specifically for CEO level, for that executive level at companies. So we haven't rolled that out yet, but we are gearing that towards the people that have found success, right? Like they have found a role maybe even that they love, that they've been passionate and dedicated to, they've made a lot of money in it, they're successful in many ways, but yet they're feeling that pull to connect deeper with themselves again. At some point along that journey, they haven't had this key piece of connecting with themselves and connecting with others in this deeper energetic way. So we're in the works of developing, it'll probably be like a 3-month container that will dive really deep into that inner work.
Nice. I love the executive leaders and people that are in that space of leadership of running a company. The way that business is set up is it's oftentimes like really not somatic oriented or energetics oriented, and so to teach leaders these skills of being able to listen to the body and communicate better with their teams is really an important part of evolved leadership. So I just love that that's what you're doing. What's feeling most aligned or exciting in your work right now?
It's been such an amazing shift to focus our work with leaders instead of like we were just talking about with trying to like break our way into this corporate wellness space. Like seeing the work that we've been doing with people at this level has been so much more intimate and exciting, and we're just seeing the transformation taking place so much quicker. And the ripple effect of that is probably what's most exciting in the work that we're doing, because it's not, and that is really like the vision that we've had for Numa, is that it's not just Lee and I facilitating these things, but it's creating a community of people that also understand the work that we're doing. They understand the importance of creating a new way of showing up in this world, of understanding people, of compassion and trust. And so they, like, our clients are on fire and just like absolutely crushing it. And they're taking all of this into their work, and like they're posting that on their social media. And so this ripple effect is like the most amazing thing.
It's so cool to see these things on social media when people get it. As a coach and facilitator, you're like, you see when it landed, and you can visually see it in the content that people put out or the words they write. It's pretty cool. Every conscious business obviously has its growing pains. What's been challenging or requiring more intentionality as you guys scale Numa Wellness?
That's a great question. The challenge has been, I think the challenge has actually been in us being visible as well. It's like the business side of, like, we love the facilitation, right? And we do have this vision we want to share, but it's still at times we're finding kind of sticky to be like showing up all the time on social media and making ourselves visible enough, even though we know that that is like the most important thing for us to do to bring people into this work and have the impact that we want. I think that's still where we're pushing ourselves in that. Like when we work with our coaches, that's where we're putting our attention, because it's just been really sticky at times, a little stretchy.
Yeah. Do you mean like in content creation, or kind of like knowing how to talk about like what you do like on social media, or email marketing?
Primarily like content creation on social media. Yeah. and I've done this work in marketing for like other businesses in the past, but there's just still a bit of stickiness and like wanting to show. I think it's like part of the technology aspect of just being on it quite a bit, you know? So trying to find how to like integrate that in a way that still feels very conscious about how much time we're spending on our devices, and like ensuring that we're like showing up very authentically in a space where sometimes it doesn't always feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, content creation. I didn't realize when I got into like wellness and holistic movement coaching that content would be such a huge part of building a business, but I feel like we're just in this era that it's just a thing that we all are. It's the modern website is pretty much your content. Who would you say is like the face of the brand, like the person that has the most, no, I don't want to say like authority, but like speaking the philosophy about who you help and how you help them? Who would you say is the face of the brand?
I think we actually split that very well, like 50-50, but we do it in different ways. So I would say I'm probably showing up more in that online space of talking about our mission and vision and sharing wins there. My business partner is amazing about going to networking events and like speaking one-on-one with people, speaking at events for larger audiences. So like we both are approaching it, but just in different places. And yeah, I just love that we have like found these avenues for us both to be a face of it.
Nice. From a business lens or an energetic one, what are you most focused on tracking or improving? Like any sort of meaningful metrics in your business?
At the start of every gathering in the Connected Collective, we ask people to give themselves a ranking 1 through 10 in health, life, and work. And so that is actually how we ask them how they're feeling about those 3 categories. And so we're looking to quantify this thing that is usually very intangible. Our feelings are so fleeting, right? Like we want to be in tune with them. We ask ourselves often, how are we feeling? But if we're not recording it or not really like making notes and tracking it, we tend to forget. And then we don't realize what things are really impacting it. So we're looking to bring more awareness to tracking that. How am I feeling, and what are those factors with it?
Yeah, I find that I guess it comes down to like giving it some sort of an objective or subjective feedback in like behavioral change. It's like people can see their progress over time and they can see those numbers shift. Is there anything that you're tracking within the business side of things that are helping you guys to grow and continue to like expand your operations?
Our philosophy is that connection is enough. And so we are looking to connect with as many people as possible. We're looking at how many people can we have conversations with every week? How many people can we get in front of every single week to just share what it is that we're offering, to share, or just be in conversation with people, right? It's like, it's not always, or oftentimes it's not about like selling them or bringing them into anything, but just rippling out this message of like way of being. And we have to do the work first, like I said in the beginning. And so we're just looking at every conversation that we're having, and I don't know that we're necessarily like tracking that in a way that's like, okay, today was 50 people and we have a goal of 100 people a week. But but it's just a very conscious, like even for a lunch break, right? Like who am I speaking with? How am I showing up? How can I just be like really grounded and helpful and reflective and just connect as deeply as possible with everyone that we come in contact with.
Nice. Conversations and connections are so, so huge, and especially when growing a brand like this that's rooted in wellness and interconnection. Looking ahead 6 to 12 months out, what's your vision for the next chapter of Numa Wellness?
We are looking really to expand this connected collective. Like I mentioned, we started it out about 3 months ago. We've evolved it into this 2.0 version, and we're looking for this to be really a community of like 200 plus people within the next 6 to 12 months. And then also like what we're plugging in, we haven't announced any of this yet, but we are planning for some really special in-person events, because the people that are coming into this are from all over the United States and actually some globally as well. And so we're wanting to really expand that connection within our leadership group and then create some spaces for people to like go even deeper in person.
Amazing. Yeah, live events are so much fun, the in-person stuff. So as more leaders recognize the need for conscious leadership and true well-being, where do you see the greatest opportunities?
The first thing that comes to mind is in breath work. I think if we can bring a breathwork practice to any and every conscious leader that's wanting to like step up in that way, lead in a different way, I think breathwork is like the way in. It just is so transformational, and it just works with the nervous system in a way that is both like active and can be very like passive and just receiving. And yeah, I think that's where we're going to like see a lot more practices being talked about as leaders, as like what's making a big difference for them.
Yeah, I've definitely been seeing that in my algorithm knows that I'm into that sort of thing, but I've been seeing so many more like Breathwork Academy or Breathwork certification, or if you want to get to your next level self, it's all about like the breathwork and the meditation, which people have been doing this for thousands of years, but it's having a new resurgence, especially in the breathwork area. What inner and outer skills do you believe wellness practitioners and guides will actually need to thrive in the next era of healing and leadership?
I think it's this is an energy work, like just like you said about breathwork being around for thousands of years. Like this is not anything new, but we're starting to understand. We've come through this place where like we need to understand how everything works for it to be real, right? Or for it to be like legitimate. And we're starting to really, I think, understand better how energy works. And so I think as facilitators, as coaches, as anybody in this space that like offers some sort of like healing or wellness, and really for leaders too, like for the business owners themselves, starting to understand the fundamental laws of energy is going to have a huge impact. I think it takes yoga facilitators to the next level. They understand better why they're actually doing the poses that they're doing, because it really, I mean, it is the energetics. That's what we're working with. And so going back to awareness being, that key piece, awareness around energy, I think is going to really transform the way that we facilitate.
Yeah, and for folks that are really steeped in energetics and working on the mindset, it can seem really obvious when there's like an energetic misalignment for us as facilitators. I guess I'm just speaking to my own experience. But sometimes when people are in it and they don't realize it's a mindset thing, or it's, how they're speaking about I think a lot of this stuff comes out in language and how people talk about what they have to do versus or what they get to do, or like being in sort of different like victim mentality versus like it's happening for you, like this is all part of the plan. So I just really applaud you for being in a field, energetics and, the inner knowing that can seem a little bit, it's not as so tangible as like some of like other traditional systems within business. But I do think you're right. It's so imperative to our progression as entrepreneurs, as leaders, people that want to grow teams, grow businesses, organizations, grow movements. Like you really need to tap into the energetics piece. So where can we find out about your offerings? Where can our listeners go to check out your website, your socials? Plug away about where we can find you.
Our website is trynuma.com. We have a dedicated page on there for the Connected Collective, a little bit more about the modalities that we work with and really like our backstory of why we created Numa. But the best way to follow along like with the current journey and just everything that's happening in like the day to day and new offerings that are coming out, follow us on Instagram at Numa_wellness. And then individually on LinkedIn and Instagram, like where Lee and I are showing up a lot more there as our own leaders, right? As leaders of the business, and are just like so excited to have conversations with people there. So send us a message and we just want to say hello.
Amazing. And if any of you guys are listening and you're wanting somebody to really be in your corner for conscious leadership, what should they do to kind of get started?
I think send us a message. That would be the way. Yeah, send us a message. Say, connect. I want to connect. I want to say hello. We will get that conversation flowing. And it's, we emphasize too, like it's not for everyone, right? So it's not about like selling everybody into something. It's really just about connecting and seeing what is a good fit or who is a good fit for what program that we're offering at the moment or what workshops coming up. And so that's why the conversation is always just like the most exciting piece, because we just want to see what amazing things you're doing and see how how we can work together.
I love the personal touch. Well, thank you so much, Kendra, for being on the show, Aligned Impact. It was such a pleasure to have you, and I look forward to seeing where this work takes you.
Thank you so much, Summer. I've loved following what you're doing too, and I just so appreciate this opportunity to connect and share more about what we love to do so much. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks again. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Aligned Impact. I'm truly grateful to have you here in this growing community of leaders, innovators, and conscious change makers. Check the show notes for all the links and resources we mentioned today, and you can explore more of my work and programs over at FlowShala.com or connect with me on social media at Summer Huntington and YouTube as well for behind the scenes, movement inspiration, and business tips. Stay tuned for more episodes of Aligned Impact that inspire you to lead with intention, get empowered, and create aligned impact in your life and your community.